Hello and welcome to the 22nd episode of Pedz Game Shack. Today we are going to be talking with Ad7? Ad Victor?
Yeah, let's go old school. Call me Ad.
Right. Ad. And we are going to be doing 3 segments today. The first is currently playing, where we talk about the games we have been playing. Second is top news, where I'm not really thinking about talking about news. I was thinking maybe the FTC stuff with Xbox, but it's still ongoing. So, but I was thinking maybe we could talk a couple of things that were shown at the Nintendo Direct, if you want.
Yeah, let's see.
And then we'll be talking We Play Together, where we talk about the game that we both played for the episode. So first up is currently playing, and I would like to know, Ad, what are you currently playing?
Currently playing. In the past few days, I think it was, I finished the one that we were playing together. So in between, my main game is probably unsurprisingly Tears of the Kingdom. I was a bit late to it, so I started that maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I can't remember, but that's consuming a lot of my time. So that's my main one. I just before that finished God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, I haven't played the newer God of Wars. The only ones I've played is the God of War and God of War 2 and the HD versions of them for the PlayStation 3. And I played them literally last year. Really liked them, but I need to crack on to get to Ragnarok. How is it? Any good?
Yeah, I'd say the they call it God of War 2018. I think they call it the first of the new ones. I preferred that one, I think. Maybe because it was just kind of so new, and that's an exceptional game. Ragnarok's an exceptional game, but it's just kind of, to me, it's a bit more of the same. It didn't really do that much differently. I wasn't as blown away by it as I was the other one, because it's pretty much just the same game again with some little different bits. But you really owe it to yourself to at least play the other one, and you'll probably like it enough if you play it to completion that you have to play this one anyway. So
yeah, well, like I said, I've only played through the first two, and then I thought I'd have a break. So I played it back to back. I played through the first one. I streamed it, as in the original PS2 game, but obviously the PS3 HD version. I played through that, and I was like, all right, I'll play something else. And I was like, no, fuck that. I'm playing through the second game. I jumped straight into that.
Funny enough, I didn't play them back in the day on the PlayStation 2. That HD collection, I got somewhere. It was back in the day, when you just get like a brand new HD collection game would come out on like play.com for 15 quid or something.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, like day one, 15 quid or something daft like that. And I took a chance on it, and I did exactly the same. I got to the end of it and just went straight into the next one because I love those.
Yeah, same here. I've got the HD collection on my PlayStation 3 ready to play, which is Chains of Olympus and something else I can't remember. And then I've got Ascension and 3 ready to play. And then I'll get to God of War 2018 and Ragnarok. Well, it's going to be a while.
I haven't played those ones. That's it. I've got God of War 3 via Plus, but I never played it. I don't know why. Maybe I'd moved on. Maybe that was at like the tail end of the whatever PlayStation that was on. Maybe it was at the tail end of that, which is why I didn't play it. And I'd moved on to something else, or maybe I was on PC or something. But yeah, I forgot all about those. Yeah, I really need to go back and play those, because it was the thing I loved about them. It was such an unmatched sense of scale, especially in the second one. I think it was, what was the place called where it was like you go to this building and it's like 3 giant horse statues. What's it called?
Oh, I know. Yeah, I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, I remember.
Yeah, the camera pans out and you end up like a pixel size on screen, and it's just this enormous scale. Yeah, I mean that game had that in spades, didn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first one, but I did prefer 2.
Yeah, it's one of those. I think it's sort of kind of its era where sequels really generally were the better game. As the rule, really. They had so much to improve upon back then, but whereas now, I think, like with Ragnarok, I found it in particular, I found it more of a sort of an iteration rather than anything massively groundbreaking about it.
Yeah, I could see what you're saying, but without having played them, I cannot say for certain.
I mean, it's like I mean, I sound like I'm moaning about it, but I mean, again, I mean, I can't recommend enough. Really, it's more that just it came off the back of a game which is very similar and was just phenomenal. So had a
Yeah,
lot to live up to.
that's fair enough. I will get to them. I just don't know when. It's probably going to be 2030.
The beauty of them is that I think with the current consoles, and I think this is probably going to end up if we get a PlayStation 6 and all that, and they're they're not making massive leaps, and it just seems to be the thing that you can just play your older games with a higher frame rate, and they're still going to look pretty damn good. So I don't think you're really missing out by leaving it. It's not like you're going to leave it, say, 5 years, and then it's going to look terrible. It's still going to look amazing. It's going to play amazing, sound amazing. So sport for choice, really.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We've hit the point of diminishing returns quite a while ago, I think.
Very, very much so. I mean, have you been playing Tears of the Kingdom?
I have, yeah. I've spoke about it briefly on the podcast, but not too much because I don't want to spoil it for people. But like I did play it quite a lot, and then the last 2 weeks I've been busy with stuff, so I've barely played anything. So Tears of the Kingdom unfortunately hasn't been played for a week or two, which is a shame because I was really enjoying it.
Yeah, I am. I like to do this to myself. I went in as blind as I possibly could to it, so I had no idea really what was coming apart from the odd thing that it's unavoidable to hear about.
Yeah,
With the internet being the way it is and clickbaity stuff popping up all over the shop, some stuff was unavoidable. But just setting out on that journey and not knowing what was coming was just joyous, really. Because I, much like a lot of other people, I was expecting because it was reusing the map for it just be like, "Ugh, I've done this." Whereas if you didn't tell me it was the same map, I don't think I'd really recognize it. It's just got so much different about it. And I think talking about diminishing returns, I think the graphics are quite noticeably better than the previous one, which
mm,
was a Wii U game after all. Whereas
yeah.
this one, I think it's using that little bit of extra switch juice to turn things up. It just looks a lot cleaner image. There seems to be a lot more detail going on, like a lot more grass and just the amount of stuff that game's keeping track of for
What
everything.
I've played of it as well, it doesn't seem to be as like the frame rate issues don't seem to be as bad. Um,
Yeah, unless you're going out of your way to just use every sort of little tool that the game gives you at once, it doesn't seem to be really suffering in any way.
no, yeah, like in Breath of the Wild, there were times where the game would literally freeze for seconds, just like stop, and I'm like, my game would crash. Then all of a sudden it'd start again. I haven't had that happen yet.
No, did you play it on the Wii U?
I played it on the Switch.
It was bad on the Wii U. It was well, if I say bad, it's an identical game, but when you got to a town, the frame rate would half just as a rule without you doing anything. And if you
Damn.
used the was it magnesis, which would put that big red grid all over the floor, when you switched to that, I think the frame rates went into single digits the second you press the button. Whereas now, it doesn't really do that unless you sort of rewinding something at the same time as fusing something at the same time as putting something on your bow and firing it and explosions and rewinding stuff that comes off the explosion. Unless you're really, really pushing it, doesn't seem to be suffering too much.
Yeah. That's a good thing about it, though. Like they've improved upon the last game, and I've been in. Funnily enough, I enjoyed Breath of the Wild, and I've said this before to many people. I enjoyed Breath of the Wild, but it didn't click with me like it did a lot of other people. Elden Ring is the game that did that for me. But I have been enjoying Tears of the Kingdom more than I did Breath of the Wild. I don't know why.
I'd agree with all of that. Breath of the Wild, I really, really enjoyed it. So I bought it again on the Switch and put just as another couple of 100 hours in. But I was never of the opinion like, oh, it's the best game ever, and this is just a phenomenal achievement. I appreciated all the world being built on a set of rules, and that anything made of wood will burn. Just little simple things like that. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
it. But I thought the divine beasts were crap. I didn't enjoy those at all. The shrines I didn't particularly enjoy. It's just there's a lot of little things which dragged it down for me.
My favorite shrines were the motion controlled ones.
we all love those, don't we?
Yeah, I love the fact you could be like flip your pad quickly so it goes upside down and then just cheat.
Yeah, I like the way it let you do that though. Like they must have known that was going to work.
Yeah,
but like Elden Ring, I mean that was incredible game. I mean that's probably up in my top 10 games ever.
Yeah, it's funny for me because from games I've never been a big fan of. I finished Dark Souls, that's it. But for some reason, Elden Ring I just really gelled with. Whereas Dark Souls I enjoyed a bit. Dark Souls 2 I haven't played. Dark Souls 3 I fell off. Bloodborne I fell off. Demon Souls I fell off. Sekiro I fell off. Elden Ring I was like, yeah, I'm playing this. I just got really into it. Like
I'm really into those games until I'm not, if that makes sense. I'm absolutely loving something until something I hit a wall with it, and then I just think I could quite happily never go back to it. Dark Souls 3, that happened with. I got to a point where there was a boss, and I couldn't even get a single hit on it, no matter how much I tried. And just thought, you know what? Yeah, just bugger this. I'm done with this. Whereas Elden Ring, I got so into it. I was reading up on the lore of weapons and things I was picking up, which I didn't tend to do in the other games, even though it had it in the other game. Just something about the way that world was structured. I felt compelled to read up on things. Like if I went into a little tomb, because the item you would get in that tomb would be handcrafted and hand placed specifically for that tomb. I was more inclined to read up on it because it would have a little bit of backstory, which would kind of give a bit of context to where it was. Like it might talk about this robe once belonged to a wizard who was, I don't know, caught doing bad stuff and banished to somewhere, and you think, oh, okay, that's the place I've just been in. That's really cool.
I didn't read any of the lore stuff, but that is actually really cool. I didn't read it like to realize that it gives that kind of background. But then again, the Dark Souls games, the Souls games then are meant to be very good for lore if you are interested in it, which I wasn't. I just wanted to play the games, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd never really bothered with it, and I know by reading up on stuff, like if you go on a wiki and it said like say Zweihander from Dark Souls, it would give like the backstory on it. But I think the fact that Elden Ring had these things in a very specific and contained area, like it'd be like a tiny little dungeon, and you'd find something in there, and it would reference something in a tower, and you think, oh, okay, the tower, because that's a very specific place I've been to. And I really remember that town and say, oh, that person's brother was in that tower and they had a fight, and then you'll go to another place later on, and it'll reference that person. You just sort of tie these areas together. Whereas I found it quite hard with the other games to, in my mind's eye, place where these places were and remember the characters at all. Whereas something in Elden Ring really, really clicked with me. I could sort of, I'd go, you go up against an enemy and you go, I read about this, I read about this person. I recognize the name.
That's cool. Like I said, I hadn't done that myself, but the fact that you can is really cool. And obviously, for some like yourself, it gets you like more into the game. Like,
yeah, and like to bring it back to the original point, I think you were talking about as well with Tears of the Kingdom. I think because they've packed more into that world, and I know Ubisoft kind of shit everywhere on a map, go tick some tick boxes. They've kind of done a bit of that as well. I think there's characters talking about areas, referencing people, and seems I'm finding it easier to mentally piece together what they're talking about, rather than just like, oh, you should go to Zora's Domain, which is just like a big main area. They're tying it into little areas or little people, or you go to a horse stable. There's somebody playing a violin. You go, oh yeah, I remember a guy talking about somebody with a violin. Little things like that, just sort of making me tie me into the world a lot more. Plus all the interactivity. I think the powers you have this time are a much stronger set of powers compared to just the generic catch-all things you had before, like bombs and move things about a bit.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying with that. I have been enjoying the powers. I don't know if I got them all. Yeah, I should have. I think I have. Yeah, trying to think now.
I think I have. I mean, there's a row to fill up. So unless that row magically expands somehow that I don't know about. I think I've got everything, and like
Yeah.
the building aspect of it as well. Because I'm not into that sort of thing. I'm not the sort of person that likes to build bases and Fallout 4 or anything. And when I saw the building thing, I think, oh god, please
Yeah.
don't make
Same
this the
here.
focus. But I'm finding I'm really enjoying doing that. I mean, I haven't gone to the extent of building myself like monster trucks and things, but I quite like making a little raft or get one of those little flying bird things and bolting some fans on and a little control stick and just zipping across something.
Yeah, I think it's because it's really quick to do, generally speaking.
Yeah, they've nailed it. And I really like the little visual cue where it's very obvious where a bit's going to stick to. I think that
Yeah.
really helps.
Yeah. And another thing as well is it can be used sparingly. So like some games, it's like you need to build quite often for certain things, whereas this is like, I fancy building a little uh, raft or a little car, so to speak. No, not an actual car, but a piece of wood with some wheels to get a Korok from here to there. And that's about it. Other than that, you don't really need to do it. It's just if you want to.
Yeah, it's did you play Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts?
Briefly, yeah.
I tried to stick. I mean, I think I finished it, or at least I got to the last level. But what I found tedious about that was the need to build something, but you had to spend so long doing it. Like if you were if you had to make a boat for a boat race, you really had to spend quite a long time doing it. You could just kind of splurge out something rubbish, but if you wanted to actually do well in the event, you had to spend quite a long time doing it. And it wasn't very satisfying. It was quite a laborious thing. Whereas this, like if you've got to transport something, you think, well, I could pick it up with the power and just walk along with it. I could stick it on a log and float it on the water, or I could make it like a little raft, or I can put some platforms out. I think you can do as much or as little as you want and
Yeah.
very quickly.
One thing I would have liked though is when did a raft, I put because there was water flowing, even though I had the prepare fan behind me, so it'd blow me forward. The river was flowing a certain way, so it was kind of made me go to the side as I was doing it. So I put a fan on the side as well, so I could hit that, so it'd push me back the other way every so often. But if you have more than one fan, it just activates them straight away. It'd be cool if you could activate one at a time if you wanted to, unless that's something
Yeah,
that happens later. But for me, it didn't.
I think that's how it works from what I can gather, because I tried bolting a control platform and a fan just onto a bit of wood, and because the platform and the fan weren't connected via, I don't know, some sort of proper bond, it didn't do anything. When I got it, didn't actually activate. I had to sort of have them stuck together and then on the wood. So I wonder if maybe if you had them stuck together and then had the fan separate, maybe you could do that. But yeah, from what I've tried, everything just seems to be on or off.
Yeah,
Like there might be some tricks. Maybe later on you get a little circuit breaker or something a bit more in depth control wise. But yeah, it doesn't seem to do that.
yeah, which is a shame. But can't have everything. Have you been playing anything else at the moment?
In the mornings, I tend to if I've got a little bit of time before either working from home or setting off for work, if I've got like 20 minutes, half an hour, I like to play just like little bite-sized things, usually something via Game Pass. So I've really got into Spelunky 2 recently.
Oh, nice. I've played it very briefly. I played more of Spelunky, but I was really bad at it, so.
Well, that's the thing. I had Spelunky on the first time I got it was on my Vita, back when the Vita was a current system. And I used to
Yeah.
buy a lot, much like with the Switch. If I was going to buy something like that now, I'd buy it on the Switch, like Hades and Dead Cells and Darkest Dungeon and things like that. I've always bought them on the Switch just because I like the thought of being able to sit and play those handheld. So
That's
I
fair
bought,
enough.
so I bought Spelunky on the Vita, and I absolutely loved it. I got to the end boss, but I just couldn't do it. And then I bought it on the PlayStation 4. I think I bought it on, and then I bought it on the Xbox. I bought it for loads of things. And Spelunky 2 came out, and it must have been on Game Pass. Must have been, because I thought, oh, here we go. And I played it and hated it. I just think it was because it wasn't exactly the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just what you really want is exactly the same thing, just slightly different. It was slightly something about it. I was just like, I just didn't like it at all. So I just deleted it, thought nothing of it. And then it came back to Game Pass, or maybe I just found it again recently. I'll give that another go. Completely hooked on it now. And it's the perfect little thing to play in the mornings. Absolutely perfect. Along with Vampire Survivors. I think maybe last time I was talking to you, I just got into that, or maybe not.
I can't remember. My memory is awful, dude. Like, I can't remember I spoke about last week to anyone.
Maybe it's because there's a guy at work that's really into Vampire Survivors, and we talk about it quite a lot. So maybe I'm confusing that. But that was my go-to morning game until I found Spelunky 2 again, because each round is a fixed time. You just like, I've got 10 minutes. Okay, great. Look at my watch. I've got 25 minutes until I need to start getting ready here to go. So
Yeah,
fit two games in perfect, like Spelunky 2. It's like
that's cool.
it's probably going to last maybe like 2 minutes a game, maybe, because I keep dying a lot because I'm crap at it. So you can just fit quite a few games in. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I need to give it a bash tidy. Same with Vampire Survivors, actually. I haven't played it. I downloaded
I mean,
it ages ago. Not
it's
played it.
it's one of those games that I think it's probably hurt by people raving about it, because like I heard nothing but good stuff, and the very first time you play it, it looks crap. Nothing's happening because it's just all you do is move a character around. You've got no control over how it fires, what it fires at, or anything. And it just like, so you've got a little guy in a green field, and I think like a skeleton will come at you, and just like a little knife will go, "Choo, choo." And then there's like a sort of 10-second pause, and your sort of initial thing just be like, this is crap, and then you start upgrading your person, and your runs get better and better, and before you know it, yeah, it's got you.
That sounds good, actually. I need to get around to that.
It really it's great. I mean, yeah, each round, each I think it's a maximum of 10 minutes per game, and there's a clock at the top to tell you. It's great. It's a very very pick up and play game. You can get it on your phone for free. You can get it on the Switch.
I think it's on Game Pass, isn't it? Still.
Yes, that's how I've been playing it. It's on
Yeah.
Game Pass. Yeah, so it's come to the Switch as well. But yeah, just give it a go. I mean, I can't recommend it enough. It's just one of those things. I mean, I know everyone. It's one of those things everyone's raving about, and just think, oh god, shut up. But past maybe your initial impression might be it's crap, but give it a few goes, and you probably find you waking up at all hours to play it.
Oh, I don't want to be doing that.
Yeah. So
I'll avoid that.
So
speaking of handheld and Vita, right? One game, like I used to play my Vita and my DS and all that, and I always enjoyed them, but I always preferred playing on the big screen because that's me. But one game that I really got into on the Vita, even though I was on the PlayStation 3, was Guacamelee. For some reason, I just got so into it whilst on the Vita, but I didn't care about playing it on the PlayStation 3 at all, even though I had it on there. It's like, nah.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm very much the same. Like, I've talked about having Hades and Darkest Dungeon stuff. Any day, I'd rather be playing them on the big screen. But I like that I can, if I wanted to, just sit and take it away. So if I'm going to a hotel for a weekend, I very, very rarely do it. It's one of those things like I buy them sort of on the off chance I might do it. But yeah, Guacamelee was on PlayStation Plus, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And it was one of those they call it cross buy back then. I don't know if they call it or cross play or cross buy, but I didn't bother playing it on the PlayStation 3. I put it straight on the Vita. God, I loved that game. I played it to death on there.
Yeah. I haven't given 2 a play. I think I've got it.
I got that for the Switch. I didn't like it as much. It didn't have quite the. It was a bit more linear.
Yeah.
It was still
Ooh.
it was still good, but yeah, it's sort of the Metroidvania thing of it was so well done that they tied it into all those wrestling moves, and it was really good fun and swapping between the dead world and the living world. And they still had that in the other one, but there would just be bits where you'd kind of run through a bit, and then the screen would zoom out, and it'd just be a zigzag. You had to do a power through a spiky wall or something. It's like it just wasn't as you didn't loop round on stuff as much. I didn't enjoy it quite as much.
But did you enjoy it in general? Just not as much
Yeah,
as the first.
I,
Yeah.
I, I did. I finished it. I did enjoy it enough to finish it. I, but not as much. Yeah, the first one really got me. I mean, I've made a point of platinuming that, and that was back before they patched it to stop the end boss being such a complete cheese. So I really tried on that. Plus the D-pad on the Vita was amazing, so that helped as well.
Yeah. You been playing anything else, man?
Trying to think. I have not played so much racing stuff recently. I bought myself a new
Someone give
play
me the
seat.
wrong ad. Someone give me the wrong ad.
It's the heat. It's the heat. Because I've got I did have a play seat which was like it's called Play Seat Challenge, where it's pretty much looks like a posh garden chair that you could fold up and stick in a cupboard. But because I got a better and much stronger wheel a while back, it's on the verge of collapsing and killing me. I know it is. So I got rid of it and bought a proper fixed one. So I've pretty much I played it enough. I've pretty much written off half the room I'm in now. It's right beside me, but it's so hot. I've played it. I've used it twice, and I'm just dripping. So that's got to wait. I don't remember. Don't know if I finished The Witcher 3 quite recently.
Oh, right, nice. How is The Witcher? Have you played any of the others? I've not played.
No.
I played the first Witcher briefly on PC, and it was a bit weird to play because with keyboard and mouse. How is Witcher 3 then?
Well, I did get The Witcher 2 on the back when I only had a 360 because I heard people rave about it and I just bounced off it. I wasn't really into it. But The Witcher 3 is amazing. It's really good. And of course the next gen, or current gen, I should say, the current gen patch they did, it looks gorgeous. I mean, it's just the one of the biggest things I keep raving about to people is everything is voice acted. Absolutely everything has got voice acting. There's no kind of somebody going, "Hey there," and then you just skip through a load of text. Everything's voice acted.
Yeah, while everything is voice acted, do they only use? I'm not trying to pick on any specific game series here, but do they only use 6 voice actors?
No, no. I mean, yeah. I don't get it. Everyone's Nolan North, that kind of thing. And yeah, like, no, everything's voice acted to just phenomenal standards. And I don't know how they've done it, but if you go and say my quest was to bring Pedz a keyboard,
Nice.
and I've done it in whatever fashion I've done it in a roundabout way where I wasn't even given the keyboard. When you turn up, if you've interacted with some random character 50 hours ago in the game, the voice acting will say about it. It will say like, "Oh, you know, oh, so you didn't come to me first about this. I noticed you went to, I noticed you went to see Victor about this first. Cheers then." And that dialogue then can have an effect on something much later in the game in a completely unrelated or seemingly unrelated quest. A character will not help you on something because they go, "Well, you didn't bring me that keyboard, so screw you," but voice acted. So I don't know how they've done it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, there was a bit where I had to quite near the end of one of the main, well, what felt like a main quest. I went to sort of rally the troops. You got to go out to say see 10 different heads of houses and try and rally the troops on stuff. And one of them just went, "Well, that thing I asked you to help me with, you didn't help me with it. So go F yourself," pretty much. And that was something that I'd done so early in the game where I really had just gone, "Oh, I'm not helping you on this," and just told them where to go. And it had an effect that much later in the game.
I'll teach you.
Yeah, they are amazing games. And the Game of the Year edition quite often comes on sale for £10 or less. It's very, very regularly on sale. So PC, Xbox, depending on what you want to play. I'd play it on Xbox if you can. It actually performs better than the PC version does now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to run amazingly well on my PC, and then they added this patch which completely overwrites the old version, and you can't do anything about it. So I loaded it up to then cross migrate my save so I could play it on the Xbox, and it's pretty much unplayable now, which is a real shame.
Yeah,
But yeah,
sounds like it.
it looks stunning. The world is as handcrafted and hand placed as you could possibly. It's like a painting. It's an amazing game.
Yeah, it's the problem I have with things like The Witcher and stuff like that is while I do get into open world games sometimes, a lot of them I bounce off of because I find that there's too much time to invest into the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And in the end,
I
I'm
mean,
like, and the problem I have as well for me a lot of the time is I'll be doing an open world game with there's loads of side stuff, and I'll be doing the side stuff and doing the side stuff, and then I'll be like, I'm just done with this game. It's just too much to do.
yeah, that's the thing with that game. I mean, I will say it took me maybe on and off. And when I say on and off, I mean like I'd get into it and play like 10 hours and then not touch it for a few months. That kind of on and off via my PC first off. But probably been playing it on and off for maybe 7 years.
Shit.
And it was only then, and I'd put maybe 80 hours into it, but over that amount of time, it was only when the current gen patch came out and I could then play it downstairs on my massive telly rather than my little monitor that I really got into it. And then I a couple hundred hours into it. But the side quests, I mean, you would struggle because the side quests are so well done, and again, all voice acted and so well written that it's actually hard to tell what's a side quest and what's the main quest because they all seem to have the same amount of stuff going on. It's pretty much just which one's going to advance the main story more than this is clearly a crappy side fetch quest. And this is clearly a really good one. So it'll take you a long time to get through it. So yeah, you probably maybe not actually got through it. But if it's cheap, I'd really recommend it. Even if you think, do you know what, I'll pay £7 and I might only play it for 15 hours and never touch it again. It's still worth it.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look into The Witcher 3. Like, I think I've got it on PC, but my PC's shit. Not shit, but you know, it's not, if it's not going to work well on a PC, it's not going to work well on my PC either.
Yeah,
it's not shit, but it is a good few years old, not like 7 odd years old.
Well, that's exactly how old mine is. I'm still on like a TED 70 and a i5 660, I think it is.
Yeah,
which is still good enough for some stuff. And it used to run the previous version of that game at like 80 frames a second or something, with all the bells and whistles turned up. And then they got that patch, or rather overhaul, I should say. And it was a slideshow, just killed it. So I was like, well, good job I got my Xbox then, because that would have been that game gone for me.
Yeah. That sucks. But at least you could still crack on. And you did.
Yeah.
And seemed to get more over. So.
Yeah. And I think that's probably jumped into my maybe a top 10 ever game. I enjoyed it that much.
That's cool. That is cool. Yeah, I'll have to have a look at it. I think I've got the second one on the Xbox 360 myself, actually. Was it Assassin of Kings or something? Or was that the third one?
No. Third one's Wild Hunt.
Yeah. Sure, it was something like Assassins of Kings or something.
Yeah, something like that. I just didn't really enjoy it.
I think I played it briefly, actually, thinking about it, and I didn't even finish the tutorial, and I was like, yeah, I can't be asked for this.
That's probably what happened with me. I think I got to the point where it gave you a choice between sort of three clear areas to go to pick your story, really. I got into one of them. I was just like, you know, I don't actually care what happens there, so I just played something else.
Yeah. Well. It happens, doesn't it? Anything else, man?
Not I can remember.
No?
Maybe a bit of handheld stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just so much stuff I've been playing. I should have written it down.
That's fair enough. With that, then, would you like to move on to top news?
Top me up.
Right, so this episode we're going to talk about the Nintendo Direct. We're going to speak about not every game. We're going to list the games, and if there's things we want to talk about, we will. Otherwise, we'll just skip through them. Otherwise, we'll be here forever. And we don't want to be because it's 10:20. So the top news this week is the Nintendo Direct announcements. And the first game on the list, if we'll go for the featured games first and then the Nintendo ones afterwards, is it?
Yeah.
So Splatoon 3, it showed some thing. Any interest in Splatoon 3?
Not really. I'll probably get it at some point, but I still haven't finished the single player on Splatoon 2, and I never play online on it, so not particularly.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't finish the single player in the first one, and they're really good games, like, but
Yeah, every time I play it, I think, why don't I play this more? And then I never play it again.
silly. We silly people, man. Very silly people. The next up then is Sonic Superstars. Any interest in Sonic Superstars?
Yes, I'll be looking forward to that one because apparently it's got the I think it's based on the actual physics and stuff of the proper 2D Sonic, like Sonic Mania and that. So hopefully it might actually be a decent Sonic.
It would be nice. All new levels. It's got co-op. I'm not sure if the co-op is online or local. Do you know?
I don't know. That's a good point, actually. I would have said it was local, but that would probably be too nice a thing to happen, and it's probably online only.
I'm sure it said, and for the first time ever, you can play local co-op or something like that on it. So, but I'm not sure if it means it's only local.
Either way, yeah, looking forward to that one.
Yeah, same here. It looks alright. The art style is a bit odd, not odd, but like Sonic and I look a bit squished, like, you know.
Yeah, I didn't see it and go, oh wow, like I know a lot of people did. I saw it and just immediately went to like, it's gonna be a crappy Sonic.
Yeah, that was my first thought too. Sonic fall over again. Dragon Quest Monsters, the Dark Prince.
No, not interested in that.
Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1.
I'm interested, but I don't think if I did get it, I don't think I'd actually get it on the Switch because I'm not sure. Well, I'd have to know how well they performed on there first.
Yeah, that's understandable. I have no interest in MGS, so.
Yeah, the first one is one of my favorite ever games. I love that so much, but I don't know if I'd actually want to play it on the Switch. I'd probably rather play it on something else.
Yeah, that's totally understandable, to be honest. Fae Farm. No interest there.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, it was like a farming thing again.
Oh, the obligatory farm thing.
Yeah. Just Dance 2024.
Just move on.
Persona 5 Tactica.
I don't know what that is. Is that a fighting game?
No, it's like a tactical RPG, I think. It's like Fire Emblem or something like that, I think.
Oh, cool. And having seen a lot of the other Persona games come to Game Pass, I suspect then that might turn up on there. And if it does turn up on there, I'll probably play it.
Yeah, give it a bash, why not? Batman Arkham Trilogy. Like how I said Arkham, not Arkham, Arkham.
I've played those to death. I mean, they're brilliant games, but I've played them to death on tons of other stuff.
And yes, and I think it goes in this order. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight. And I mean good to best.
Yes.
Good to worst. Best to worst. God damn it, I'll learn to speak one day. Yeah, the first one's the best, the second one, the third one's the worst.
Best of well, they're all great, but
yeah.
They're so good that you got to say, the Asylum's the best.
Yeah. I like the more the smaller area. It felt more Metroidvania-y.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
There's more focus to it, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Vampire Survivors.
Brilliant game. I mean, I suspect that's going to be quite cheap as well. Because I think it was like £5 new on the Xbox, and like free on phones and things. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's about that kind of price. Great little game, and it'd be perfect for off TV or on TV.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a bash on the Xbox.
Very good.
Next up, we have Gloomhaven.
That is I think that's a board game.
Yeah, it's a tabletop game, yeah.
Yeah, because I think I looked at buying that yonks ago, and it was like £200 or something. So I didn't, because I heard it was like probably the best, but also one of the most complicated tabletop games you could get, and the price is just like, I'm not paying that much money, and then getting it and not being able to play it. So
yeah, exactly. It's like I was looking at it because I noticed that Gloomhaven second edition is being kickstarted on Backer Kit, and it was like $130 or something, and I was like, I'm not paying that, especially as I've got no one locally to play with. I'd have to just play on my own.
That's the thing, yeah. It's if you're going to spend that kind of money on something, you've either got to want to paint the miniatures or do something more to get more. Yeah, because if you get that, we bought one called Eldritch Horror.
All right.
And just it was too complicated, or rather too complicated for people that kind of play these things casually and don't. I suppose if you were into that type of thing and played it a lot, you might have picked it up quicker. But we really struggled with it. Whereas we got one called Dark Descent 2, which had a companion app, which pretty much acts as the DM for you. So that just that runs the game, and we played that to death. That's brilliant. So Gloomhaven, I'd be interested in that because that would probably function in the same way. It's pretty much like a DM running it for you.
Yeah. But yeah, the $130 edition, I think, was just like the basic version, and then there was one with miniatures with cards and sort of.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's a commitment to then just not play it.
Yeah. I don't need that pressure, man. Palia, I think, is next. I can't even remember what that was.
I can't remember it. The thumbnail looks nice.
Yeah, pretty thumbnail. Silent Hope. I can't remember that either.
No. Is that the one that was like a Saturday morning cartoon they kept talking about? Or was that Myth? That was Myth Force. That's done.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Then we had Headbangers Rhythm Royale. It looked kind of fun, actually, but I don't know if it'd be something I'd bother with.
Yeah, that's one that, if you had access to it, you'd probably put it on and maybe spend an evening playing it for a laugh, but I don't think it's something I'd buy. Yeah,
no, I think that's pretty much sums up how I would feel about it. Because it did look a bit silly fun, but something like, not exactly the same, but like something like Jackbox is just silly fun you play every now and again.
Yeah.
Star Ocean, the second story. I've not played a Star Ocean game. Got any interest in that?
No, I don't even know what that is, really. I'm guessing, a classic RPG. A classic RPG returns November 2nd.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Next up then is Manic Mechanics. I have no idea what that is. I don't remember it.
Grab your tools. Nope.
Penny's Big Breakaway. I thought it looked okay. I thought it looked a bit... I don't know. It just looked a bit...
I thought, oh, 3D, always look at a good 3D platformer, but it looked just a bit empty. But then they did make a point of saying the Sonic Mania people are involved in it. And,
which kind of made me think, oh, maybe it will be worth going. Maybe the gameplay will be great, and even if it's not visually...
It's like Tinykin. I played that based on you and Kerr talking about that.
I really enjoyed it.
I never would have looked at that twice. I'd have looked at in fact, I'm pretty sure I looked at the art style and just thought, oh, that's probably going to be a load of crap. But based off what you two were talking about, I played that and loved it. So I'm going to give this a go based on the same thing because it could well be the same sort of deal.
Yeah. That is a good point, and sometimes you can come across things and unexpectedly enjoy them.
Yeah, definitely.
Next up then is Myth Force, which is like a Saturday morning cartoon game, as has already been stated. That I've got an interest in. I'm definitely going to keep my eye on that.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, I'd be interested. Yeah, I want to see more on that because it looks kind of like Brave Star or like Visionaries or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the look of it.
Yeah. If they don't do silly things like on the occasion have like the colors swap and stuff because like things like that used to happen.
Yeah.
And then they missed the fucking trick. Right, we should move on to the Nintendo stuff then. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet had DLC shown. It looked okay. I recently, for those wondering, did put up my review for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. they're all right.
Not played them. Not
Yeah,
played
fair
them,
enough.
but yeah.
They're releasing the GameCube classics Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 on the Switch.
That's funny because I bought my wife Pikmin 3 a while back because I had that on the Wii U, and she saw me playing it in light. Said, "Oh, that looks good." And then I saw it; it was cheap for a Nintendo game, so I picked up Pikmin 3, which she loved. And funnily enough, the other day she said, "Oh, where are the other two ones?" And I said, "Oh, the GameCube games." So, no idea what's going to happen. I think like the next day was this, and then like, oh, guess what? So I'll probably pick those up at some point.
Can you ask your wife to say, "Oh, where's Metroid Prime 4?" and then I'll get announced tomorrow.
That's the damn and Silk Song as well.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed Pikmin. I never finished it because back then I was even worse with finishing games than I am now. So I never finished it, but I really enjoyed my time with it. Pikmin 2,
Yeah,
I played a little bit of. Same kind of thing. Really enjoyed it. Didn't finish it.
only one I've played is 3, and that was the Wii U one. So I haven't tried the Switch one yet, but I didn't get that far, and I just wasn't very good at it. She's great at strategy type stuff, so
Yeah, that's fair
she was.
enough.
I just wasn't too good at it, but I really, really enjoyed it. I love the little tiny world thing about it.
Yeah. I played 3 a bit as well, and I actually preferred the control scheme they of having your Wii pad next to you, so you can use it as like a map and stuff, and then you can use the Wii nunchuck and control remote.
The remote, yeah, that was added after it came out, wasn't it? That was a patched in thing that wasn't
I'm
there
not
at all.
sure.
It
I
was
don't know.
unsurprisingly they tried to shoehorn the gamepad in, so they made you use that, and then
Yeah,
they patched the other one in, the pointer controls, probably to bring it closer to the other ones.
yeah, it was bloody good control scheme when you had it all set up. You have Detective Pikachu Returns. I have not played Detective Pikachu.
Me, I haven't either.
I would like to have a look at it though. It's supposed to be pretty good, the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what type of game that is, whether it's a full blown RPG or if it's kind of like Professor Layton or something.
No clue. WarioWare Move It. Yeah, yeah.
I think I've played enough of them. That's the thing. It's just like if I had access to it, I'd probably spend an evening having a good laugh with it. But I don't
I'm
bother
interested
buying
in
it.
the older WarioWares more than the newer ones as well, simply because I don't really. I don't know. I just didn't like. What was the one on the Wii? Smooth Moves. I didn't
That was,
really weren't that bothered by the motion controls. I just preferred playing the
yeah,
and working out the button controls and stuff. And
that was the last one I had. That was the last one I got, and that put me off because a friend of mine had the GameCube one. I can't remember what that one was. But we used to play so much of it. I think we 4
such a
players.
good game. Yeah,
We used to play it to death. And then when the Wii one came out, I thought, oh yes, here we go. And it was just too much faffing.
yeah, yeah. I thought you were going to say flapping then, but you know. Pikmin 4. I think actual gameplay was shown. It looked good, and you can even explore in the night now. Yay!
Yep, I will be guessing that one definitely.
Yeah, same here. And there's also a weird dog thing.
Yeah, nice and cute as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Super Mario RPG is being remade. It's coming out in November. Have you played Super Mario RPG? Have you any interest in Super Mario RPG?
Yes, I haven't finished. I started. It was on the SNES Classic, and I think maybe it was like maybe last Christmas. I really fancied giving it a go. I played, probably put maybe 5 hours in. It was a bit kind of clunky and old fashioned. I found it a little bit dull in places, but I was enjoying it, so I could be tempted. Thing being is that if it's pretty much like a one-to-one remake, I have got it already, and
Hmm.
it's either play the one I've already got, which is kind of all right, or pay no doubt Nintendo prices of like £50 for this one. So, but yeah, I mean it looks good.
Yeah, it does look nice. The last game that was shown was a game called Super Mario Brothers Wonder. What are your thoughts on Super Mario Brothers Wonder?
Um, I didn't like the art style, but then I was watching it on my little phone, so maybe it looks a lot better. Maybe if I watched it on a big telly, maybe I might see what makes it different to New Super Mario Brothers because I don't like New Super Mario Brothers. I like the gameplay. I just don't like the look of it, and it looks
Yeah,
like
it's a
that.
bit bland on New Super Mario. It does look
Yeah.
better if you looked at the comparison pictures side by side. It does look nicer, like the art style's nicer and stuff like that. But when I first saw it, I thought, oh, it's kind of looks like New Super Mario Brothers.
What I
So
did like, what I did like about it is it just seems to be full of that creativity that Super Mario Maker 2 had in it, especially on the pre-made levels. You know, the single player mode on that. I don't know if you actually played it,
yeah, I did.
but it was full of that sort of stuff, and it looks like it wouldn't surprise me if it's the same team who made this. So based on that, I mean, I'm going to get it anyway. It's a Mario game. I'm definitely going to get it. But I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, same here. It looks fun. It looks like Mario have eaten too many of his mushrooms and is tripping his balls off. But yeah, I think that was probably the best announcement of the show for me. Like, you know, just
Yeah, it was. I like. I'm looking at even the screenshot. I'm looking at the little purple things. I love collecting stuff in games. Like I loved it in Odyssey. The little, it's like 100 purple things to find in each level. So if they've got stuff like that, I'm hoping that's what those are for, and not some sort of counter for how much powers you can use, or I don't know, something like that. Yeah, I like the look of it. Don't know what the elephant's about.
he's been a cat. No, he's an elephant.
Oh yeah, in fact, yeah. Thank death to Cat Mario. Good.
Oh, what did I have Cat Mario? Cat Mario's fine.
You love the. Here's your Mario Maker curse, wasn't it? Cat level with the cat levels and go karts.
Yeah, Newell was a big fan of them, wasn't he? Poor guy. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the direct, or do you want to move on to We Play Together?
Yeah, we'll move on. I mean, there's lots. That direct was pretty damn strong. I think there's lots of stuff I want to play.
Yeah, it's the first one in a while I've been like, yeah, there's some good shit here.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't appeal to me, some of it looked interesting. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's something for everyone in there, I think.
So, with this, we will move on to the next segment, which is We Play Together. We've been currently playing through a game called something or other that I've forgotten. Lana's Planet? Planet Lana.
Planet of Lana.
Planet Lana.
Planet of Lana. That's one of the worst names because I kept thinking it's Planet of Luna. and every time I kept checkpointing myself and thinking, right, how far am I into this, just to make sure I finish this. So I was like, there's a little top level walkthrough with just the chapter names. I was like, okay, so Planet of Luna, nothing would turn up. And I kept doing it.
Yeah, I don't know why I just forgot the name. I've been fine with it so far. There you go. I just made myself look like a tit. What have you thought of the game then? I'm assuming you finished it.
I did. I finished it. At a guess, I don't know, but at a guess, I say it took me maybe 4 hours. I can probably check on my little Xbox app while we're talking. But I did really enjoy it. I didn't think it was as special as the initial moments of the game made me think it was going to be. I don't know. Did you finish it?
I did. Yeah, I finished it today. I've been on and off it for a while. I was going to quickly get to it. Every time I was like, oh, we're going to record today, I better crack open the game. And then something would come up. I'm like, oh, dude, I can't do it. So then I was like, oh, give me a little bit more time to get to it. So I finished it off today. I rather enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was very pretty. I took unusually for console, I took a lot of screenshots while I was playing because I was thinking, oh, that'd make a nice background. Oh, that'd make a nice background. Yeah, I thought it was very pretty. I did come across a game-breaking bug, I think 3 times.
Ooh.
Where, because I don't know how many of the shrines, the little hidden shrines you found, but
2.
I think the first one is pretty well. Yeah, you can't miss it really. I think it's to let you know there's one there. And then I did a little zigzag where you drop down not long after. Is it Mui, the little guy?
I can't remember his name.
I think it's Mui or something like that. I dropped down somewhere, and as I dropped down in the top right, I thought, God, I didn't check against there, to see if I could go behind there. So I reloaded checkpoint. It lets you do that reloaded checkpoint, and it broke the scripting of the little guy, because what he's supposed to do is you walk along and there's a little rope tied up, and without you prompting him, he's supposed to jump up, push it down, and then you learn that you can go, oh, I can now prompt him to do it. We never jumped up because I'd broken the scripting by reloading the checkpoint. So I watched a little video to think, right, am I doing something wrong here? And no, he just jumps up. So I had to reload the chapter, because reloading the checkpoint it was always broken. So I mean, that was the second chapter as well. So I had to replay the second chapter, and I did that somewhere else as well. I died in a way that had the little guy stuck behind something, and he wouldn't get back out again.
Damn. Yeah, I never had any issues like that. It's pretty smooth sailing for me with glitches and bugs. I didn't have any, and yeah, visually, as you were saying, it is really pretty. Like I like the character is quite not bland, because they're not, but it's very stylized and it's kind of like it hasn't got masses amounts of details, but like the backgrounds and stuff, it all looks kind of like kind of watercolory, but not quite. If that makes sense.
It really reminded me of Another World, kind of flashback a bit as well, but visually it reminded me of Lost Winds, if you remember that one.
Oh yeah, for the Wii. I think that's on PC as well.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. I mean, a much prettier version of that, but I really appreciated the like the big vistas it had. Like you'd run along and it would just take the time to just show you something really pretty before moving you on.
Yeah, you'll spend a little bit of time running. It'll zoom out for you to see a little bit, and then it'll zoom back in.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, you've seen the sexy. You can carry on now.
I thought I don't know. Would you say they're aliens or machines?
I don't know, because there's a point in the game where you see pictures that are humans, and then the last one's like a robot-y thing. So I'm wondering if it was like a robot uprising or something.
I took it to be that the humans brought them to that planet. I took it to be that they were explorers, and they were coming to that planet to settle, and then their method of controlling those robots went awry, and they just went mad. Because when you get the ability to control the robots, I took that was given to you on their ship, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You go onto a mothership or something. So that, because being on their ship, I took it to be that whoever had control of it lost control. So I don't think they were inherently bad. I think they were there to do good stuff. And yeah, they were brought there by those people. That's how I took it. I could be completely wrong, of course.
Yeah, I have no clue. But, that's as good as a theory as mine, huh? Mine, robot uprising. Yours, someone cocked up.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I took it to be. It's very War of the Worlds remake, when they're swooping in and scooping people up in ball things and taking them off to wherever they got to be taken off.
Yeah. And then they were, well, I don't know what they were doing with the people, because they just had them in like little cubes. But like the animals, they were like mushing.
Yeah, they were. And did you notice that they were feeding those to the people?
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, those cubicles they're in, they had a little tube going down into what looked like some sort of food dispenser. And when they were mushing the things up, that tube, you can kind of follow that along. And so yeah, that was how they're feeding. So I took it to be maybe it's a repopulation thing, or I don't know. But yeah, maybe those people that come into the planet were bad, and they were coming down to sort of capture people. But I assumed it was a cock up. But then if it was a cock up, why would they have all those little pods that people were trapped in?
Yeah, I have no idea. But how did you find the gameplay then? Obviously, a lot of it is simple platforming, and then there's quite a bit of running about, but then you have like the puzzly stuff. What do you think of the game from that perspective?
I like the mix of it. I found that the pointer control to tell the little guy to do something a bit kind of clumsy sometimes. I think it would have been better suited to a mouse cursor, maybe. Maybe if you play it that way, it's a bit more a bit more urgency to it because you only got a short arc to move your stick around, and sometimes I found it didn't really go where I wanted to. But I thought the puzzles were quite nice. Some of them were quite tricky later on.
Yeah.
Especially the timing. I found the timing wasn't very forgiving. Like if you've got to sneak past something by distracting it, like getting the little guy to pop up and in and out of a hole, you have to be really, really precise.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple of times I've ended up getting murdered by like trying to hang off something and not climb up in time or things like that. Bit of a nuisance, but you know.
Controls were I found them a little stiff with that. Maybe, but I took that to be, you're not controlling an action hero. It's just
a young girl.
She's not like going to be jumping and suddenly hauling herself up a platform really quickly. It's going to take a while to do it. So it didn't feel out of place. It just took me a while to adjust it, but I didn't get stuck on anything. I might have died a few times, but I knew, I kind of figured out what I had to do quite easily, and then it was just doing it.
The execution,
quick enough, really.
Yeah, there's some puzzles later in the game where getting the timing right, even on some of the things I did where you had to like move a platform and then as it's moving back, you have to jump on it at the right time. And sometimes I'd jump a bit too early and then I'd end up missing it and hitting the floor and splatting, or I jump too late and then I can't make the second jump.
I think I know the one you talk about. We have to, the platform's really high up as well. You used to have to pretty much put it right up in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then do a bit of platforming to get there. Yeah. That's the one I probably struggled on the most because, I did it. I jumped too soon, I jumped too late, or I jumped what I thought was the right time. And then she took ages to climb up onto the platform. And by the time she climbed up, it was pretty much on the floor again.
Yeah. And then you've got to make sure as well the platform is in the right position, because if it's too far left or right, that could screw you too.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. and the little guy can't jump onto it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I really I had fun with the game. I didn't really have anything I didn't enjoy in there. Like obviously it's quite short. It's pretty simple in the way you can play the game, I guess. In the sense of, it's not exactly a complex game, which is perfectly fine for the kind of game it is. But I really enjoyed it, and I thought there was some nice environments in there, because it wasn't just like nice outside areas. You go into some caves and other things, and some of the puzzles I thought were really good, like the ones where you have to take control of like a creature to pump water and stuff, and then you're having to pump the water at the right levels as you're moving, so you were avoiding the robots as well as getting past and stuff. It was pretty intriguing. Hopefully they'll do a second game or another game of with a similar style, but like make it a little longer to add more difficult puzzles towards the end, because like even I could do it. I'm crap at puzzles.
I really liked, like you just mentioned that. I liked that. I think nearly every time you were in quite clearly a puzzle area, they introduced something new, but then they didn't always carry that new thing on into the next puzzle. Because what I think a lot of games fall into the trap of with that kind of thing is, like, say you're taking control of an animal. Once you've done it one time, you've got to do it in it. Every puzzle's got an animal, and then you can take control of one of the robots that can shoot something to kill it. Oh, you got the animal, and then the thing that can kill, and then the water, and then this. They weren't afraid to show you something like that, and then drop it, and you never see it again. I quite like that. It was nice.
I found that the game with the puzzles, like they did add a new style, even if it was like an iteration of another type of puzzle. I did find that even towards the end of the game, there was like slightly different kind of puzzles, not massively different, because it's not The Witness or something, but it's
oh yeah,
oh no, I'm too dumb for The Witness.
Yeah.
But I did find that like the puzzles they did keep adding like a slightly new style of puzzle, like even late in the game, which is a good thing for a puzzle game.
Yeah, right at the very end. I think like the very last thing you have to do has something you've not done before in it. and it's not frustrating for it. You know, it's very clear. It's very clearly signposted what you got to do. They're quite clever with shining lights on things, or like the vision of the robots. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very, you know, it's very well done, and it very clearly shows you. It'll move across something, and like, okay, when it's over there, it can't see me. I get it now.
Yeah, yeah. It like I said, the good thing about the game is like there are some puzzles that are trickier. Like it takes a little bit more time to work out than others, but generally speaking, they're all well signposted, as you said. But most of the time, it comes down to just nailing the execution. Like you haven't got to spend hours upon hours like some games where you're like, what the hell am I doing here? With this, it's like you'll try something, it may not work. And you're like, oh, okay, I see what I did wrong. I'll do this, and then you're like, yeah, that's definitely right, but I need to quickly do it quicker or get here slower so that the thing moves differently, and then I can go fast. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's good. I like the way they kept most of the puzzles, unless it was like the water one you were talking about, where you had to float a log along. I think most of the puzzles were contained to a single screen, so they didn't have you going off and having to sort of remember what you've done. You know,
Yeah.
opening a door, someone going, "Oh, is that door open still? I can't remember."
Yeah, there wasn't many puzzles I can think of like that. There is the water one, as we mentioned, but I think there was one involving fans that was kind of like that as well, where you had to fly through fans.
God, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, there's a
Oh.
part where you turn off loads of electric stuff, and you go through
Oh,
fans,
yes,
and the
yes,
little guy can't go through them, so you have
that's
to.
it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and again, they don't then introduce fans into everything, which
Yeah,
they could easily have done. They could have easily had fans, water level, robots. You know, they're quite restrained. I like the way they introduced something, did a good job of it. You might see it maybe once more, and then you're doing something else.
yeah. Honestly, I don't know if you see a fan after that.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Sometimes you'll, as you said, you'll have a fan, and the next level will be everything, including the fan that came before, or will be in the next set of puzzles.
I'm just looking down some screenshots of it. I loved the little you know, when you ride one of those things like a horse.
Yeah,
In fact, that's just reminded me. One of the few things I actually didn't like was the quick time event type thing. I was a bit annoyed. I'd rather have solved a puzzle than just mashed a button to solve a couple of. It only happened a couple of times, but
yeah, it did. It didn't bother me because it was used sparingly. I'm not a massive QTE fan at all, but because it was used like pretty sparingly, it's not so bad. But I think in the options you can turn off QTEs.
oh, okay, that's interesting.
So I'm guessing for that kind of thing, maybe you wouldn't have a QTE. You'd have maybe it'd just be a long cutscene or something,
Yeah, yeah.
just because it was really cool. I actually really enjoyed that bit. I thought it was really interesting with the shit going on. Like it kind of you know
I mean,
well
a literal change of pace as well, wasn't it?
yeah, exactly. And now that is something that you can't complain about, having a change of pace, man.
No, something else. The screenshots just reminded me of. Did you ever play Yoku's Island Express?
I never did. I've got it and I need to play it. I've heard such wonderful
Oh,
things about it.
I love that game. That was
Isn't it like a Metroidvania but pinball?
yeah, you're a little bug who moves around quite slowly, and then dotted around the area there's just pinball flippers, and you just kind of roll up into a ball and do the platforming via pinball. Very, very good. But it's got that's it looks kind of like Rayman Legends and Origins, that kind of art style, but also it reminded me of this as well.
Oh,
That kind of
nice.
greenery and bit of variety too. Highly
Yeah.
recommend that one.
Yeah. I'll have to have a look at that as well, as I have got it. Not sure what on. I think I've got it on PC, but I might have it on other stuff as well. There's so many games I've got like Spare Keys 4 on PC, or I've
Yeah.
got it on like 5 different consoles, and I've never played it on any of them.
I played that one on the Switch. I bought that one for a plane journey quite a
Oh,
while ago.
nice.
I just saved it. I was like, "Do you know what? It was on sale. I'm going to give that a go." I didn't really know much about it apart from a few people said it was good. I played loads of that.
Yeah,
Really nice.
I've not played it. I don't know much about it, if like in the sense of no one really spoken much about it, but I have seen a little bit of gameplay when Jasm streamed it, but like I didn't see a lot because I would lurk for things like, if there's something I fancy playing and I haven't played it, I'll try not to watch it because I want to play it myself, like, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I tend to, well, very rarely watch trailers of something. If I know I'm going to watch, if I know I'm getting it, it's like Starfield. I haven't watched it. I know I'm getting that, so I don't care. I don't want to see anything of it because I prefer that little, initial ooh and discovery and
The only thing I've heard about that game really is like there's a lot of planets, and I'm just like, I don't care.
yeah, yeah, exactly. If you're trying to avoid things like The Witcher because of that, yeah, you're not going to like that game, are you?
Yeah, exactly. Like the Elder Scrolls games and Fallout. I finished Elder Scrolls 4 and 5 eventually, and I only finished Fallout 3. And then Fallout New Vegas, I was really enjoying, but just didn't finish it. Fallout 4, I just did not like it. And Fallout 76, I was playing with Cumberdanes, and we were actually enjoying it, but then the final mission was bullshit. You needed to get like 8 keys each for this certain bunker, and then you had to do all this bullshit in the bunker, and then it would summon a boss, basically. And then, from the sounds of it, you need like fucking the entire server there to kill it.
Yeah,
So you can't finish the game unless you do that. It's like bollocks.
Fallout 4 was so disappointing. I never I think I got reasonably near the end, but I just wasn't enjoying it. I explored a lot, but the actual story was a load of crap. So I skipped it. Whereas Fallout 76, I left for so long. I think that was like $4.99. I think I got that for, and I thought it was better than Fallout 4.
I
But
enjoyed it, but I
yeah,
also played in co-op, so that probably helped.
yeah, I didn't, and I did have a few server disconnects in the middle of missions I was doing, which then kicked me off the server. And then when I went back on, um, everything I'd done for a few hours had been undone in the world,
Ah, sucks.
But I know the keys you're talking of. There was like these dead soldiers or like zombie soldiers or something that would have like
Yeah.
a bit of beeping sound, and you get a key off them. And I was collecting them, thinking I was doing really well. And then I went back to the game maybe a week after, and it was like, oh, the key's broken because they reset every week.
Yeah.
It's like just what I hate, being forced into doing something time wise rather than doing it at my own pace. So I
Yeah.
never pursued that.
Yeah, it's for the final mission, I believe. And me and Cumberdanes, we jumped on a Saturday, like 8 o'clock, a bit earlier than we normally would jump on. And we stayed up till like 3 in the morning, and we couldn't get it done.
God.
And we thought we needed 8 keys in total, but we needed 8 keys each, which was bullshit.
That's just, and something I did do actually, I think when somebody sets a nuke off, you can look on the map and see most people are there to watch it. And I know that you could then pay to warp to where people were if they were part of your team, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So I did, even though I was quite low level and quite underprepared. I didn't have any decent armor or anything. I did warp to what I then found to be a server full of people in power armor to watch a nuke drop, and then some giant monster appear. And I did help take one of those down. So at least I did that.
Which is, I think, is the thing you need to take down to do the main story.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I haven't done it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I turned up and kind of with my pea shooter just chipped away at some damage, and then we did get it.
nice. I remember playing Fallout 76 on the PlayStation 5 with Cumberdanes, but I jumped on it once with on the Xbox, just because I thought, I wonder if the data's carry across. It didn't. So I just went to the starting area, like left the vault, went to the starting area because it was a while after it came out. So there was a little pub or something nearby the vault, which wasn't there originally. I went there and someone had left power armor there, so I just nicked it and locked off.
Oh. I love it when someone does stuff. Like when people try and be helpful and drop a gun at your feet and go like, "Hey, like I've dropped a gun at your feet." It's like that's a level 50 gun. I'm level up.
I'm level 1.
Thank you very much, but I'm gonna have to wait probably about 80 hours to play with that.
Yeah. It's funny though, because me and Cumberdanes, when we were playing it, we jumped on with Jawa a couple of times, right? Jawa have done barely any of the story missions, and yet at the time he was higher level than us. He was like level 50, 60, and all he does is just build.
I think he said, didn't he? I think he said he spent like 1,000 hours on it, and because of all the building, you get experience. That's how he's leveled up. But
Yeah.
he's not done it. So he's got crap gear. He's not got any power, but he's really high level.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's the way to do it.
Did you get to visit his places then?
Yeah, a couple of times.
I love the look of his places.
Yeah, they are cool. Well done,
really well done.
Yeah, we visited. We jumped on one time. He was playing, and we just appeared in his thing, and he didn't realize it was us, and he turned around and like whipped out his gun and everything.
Like you were going to go in and like rip it to bits or something.
Yeah. I think he was in his private server, which is why he was so shocked that there was someone standing behind him.
How did you get into it? Did you have to? Can you search by friend or something?
You can join on friends, and but that's what me and Cumberdanes did. And I just standing behind him, turns around, he's like, "What the fuck?"
He had no option.
Yeah,
you should have moved in next to him.
Should have built a house right next to him and just spent my time there. Like,
there goes the neighborhood.
Speaking of Planet of Lana. Is there anything else you would like to add before we end the podcast?
Nope, but I would highly recommend playing it. I mean, it's this kind of game that I like anyway. So I was determined to finish it because we were playing it for the play together. But if we hadn't been doing that, I still would have finished that.
Yeah,
really nice game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I would have played it in the sense of I don't think I would have gone on my way to play it. Had I played it, if I'd be like, oh, I'll try this game and played it, then it would have been something that I would have enjoyed. But just simply because there's so many games, I probably would have just not got around to it. More so than they look shit or something. It's more too much to play.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think, yeah. I don't know from the thumbnail whether I would have given it a go, but I tend to, when stuff gets added to Game Pass, no matter what it is, unless it's like FIFA or something, I'll tend to just go into it and at least look at the screenshots and see if it even remotely looks like something I'd like. Yeah, highly recommended. Plus, I like that it's a short game. It doesn't outstay its welcome, and you can play it in little bursts. You don't lose anything by not sitting and spending an hour on it. You can 10 minutes, do a screen, and then turn it off.
Yeah, that's the good thing about it. But I was, because I was playing on the Xbox, I just turned my Xbox off when I weren't playing it, and then loaded up the Xbox and just carry on exactly where I paused it, which is good. But obviously, I wouldn't have needed to do that anyway. But it's just habit. It's habit I've been doing now since I've started playing. Since I've been doing the podcast, some games I'm like, I can't play long, and it's a precaution. I do that just to make sure.
Well, you mean you turn stuff off just to make sure it's been saved? Is that?
No. On the Xbox, you can have I can't remember what it's called. I think the PlayStation 5 has it as well, where you can
quick resume.
Quick resume, yeah. So I just use quick resume on a lot of games now.
I that's the only way I play my games, to the point where I forget that that's an actual feat. To me, it's just like turn your game off with it. I just pause the game, as in just start button, pause the game, turn it off, and then just quick resume it. So I forget that that's actually a thing until I go on my PlayStation 5, and then you haven't got it, and it's like, oh, I'm so used to just jumping straight back into a game, unless it's something like an online game like Elden Ring. That didn't like it. That was the only one.
Bloody stupid games and being pain in the ass. Online games can have an issue with it. Or used to, didn't they? I've never really used it until fairly recently. I used to just, if I'd exit game and quick resume was it, I just close the game properly.
Yeah, it's Elden Ring because of the online thing, and that doesn't like it. So I kept forgetting as well, because you'd turn it on and then it would almost lock up. So not hard freeze the machine, but it just wouldn't respond for quite a long time. Clearly, while it was going, what's going on with my connection? And then it would boot you back to the main menu screen. So with that one, because you could save as soon as you exited the game, it would save exactly where you were anyway. So you lost nothing by saving and quitting anyway.
Yeah. What was I going to say? As we're going to end in a second, as you've already said, I was going to ask you, would you recommend it? Because normally, if we haven't finished a game, I'll ask if you would continue to play. You've finished the game, and you've already said that you really recommend it, so I can't really ask either of those questions. But
yeah, give it a go. I mean, if you've got a Game Pass, there's no reason not to, unless if it even remotely interests you.
yeah, it's a fun game. Definitely worth checking out. I enjoyed my time with it. I'm not a massive puzzle fan, but I think it's a puzzle game in comparison to a puzzle platformer. I think is very different. Very different. Because it has a different feel and it feels more like a game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're not as roadblocky as, say, something in The Witness, where it's a literal gate to just, I'm not. If you do not solve it, you're not getting any further. Whereas because it's framed like a platformer,
Yeah.
there's going to be a path through, and then from there you can tell what your obstacle is. And say, okay, I get this now.
The Witness is too, like I said, it's too hard for me. This, on the other hand, is like, you can take a little bit of time and just crack on,
Yeah, that comes down to almost just getting the timing down once you've figured out what you're doing.
Yes, exactly. Right. That is actually going to be us, as we've been going for an hour and 23 minutes. We normally finish at around an hour. But before we go, is there anything you'd like to plug? Like, do you have a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel or something else?
One Foot in the Grave is available on DVD, so no, I don't. Have I got anything? No, I don't think I have got anything actually.
Nah, that sucks, man. I thought you were doing music now.
Do you know, I haven't done music for quite a long time, but that is the downside of games, is when you can get too into something. Like, I'm neglecting music is my main music. I'd say music's my main hobby, and I game in between it. Whereas something like Tears of the Kingdom, it's detrimental to that. So I really need to make an effort to get back into it. But yeah, I've recorded a few things recently. Yeah, maybe in the last month or so, but nothing major.
I hope you're going to do a genuine sad Let's Cheer 'Em Up song for Christmas this year.
Oh, that's got to be done, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
Like Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Like Sad Aid or something. That's got to be done, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You can get every forum member has to sing a bit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about every forum member, but at least the cool ones, like
no, every single, even the bots.
Just the cool kids, man. Like Gecko. That's it. Just Gecko. Gecko and you can duet.
Ah, it's got to be done.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I'm glad I put it in your head.
Yeah, thanks for that. I've got to do it now, haven't I?
You do. But yeah, that's going to be us then. I would like to thank you for taking part. And I will say goodbye to everyone who's listening. So goodbye, everyone. And hopefully you will join us again soon. We'll be back in a fortnight, and Ad will be back when he's available.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
As always, dude, thank you for taking part, man. Catch you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.